In the last lesson, we talked about trimmed actions,
Mm-hmm.
right, which we saw were pretty similar to bald actions.
Right.
Right, so instead of the u becoming a sukun, we saw that the u becomes a, and then the other two rules are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then our one scenario of trimmed actions was what?
Trimming words.
Trimming words, right? And then we saw that those were similar to shaving words.
Right.
And so in our trimming words, we had the word li, which means in order to or so that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember our bald or shaving words, we also had a li, which meant should.
Right.
Right, so we have some overlap here,
Okay.
right? And we also have some overlap in the rules. So
Right.
what does that mean for us? Right, it means that we need to learn how to distinguish between the two kinds of li's.
Okay.
Right, so if the word following the li has a on it, it's easy, right? We know for sure that that's trimming,
Uh-huh.
which means in order to,
Right.
right? And if the word following the li has a sukun on it, right, that's also easy. We know it's a shaving word,
Yeah.
which translates as should, right? So some examples of that. يُدْعَوْنَ إِلَى كِتَابِ اللَّهِ لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَهُم. We see that the word following the li has a on it,
Mm-hmm.
so it translates as so that,
Right.
right? They are called to the book of Allah so that it may judge between them. And here we have وَلْيَحْكُمْ, and the word following it has a sukun on it,
Uh-huh.
so we know for sure that that's shaving.
Gotcha.
So it's translated as should. Right, but what if the word following it ends in a u? We know that means that there was a noon dropped. And that can happen with either shaving or trimming.
Right.
And if it ends in a noon, right, the feminine ending, we know that it could be either shaving or trimming.
Right.
Right, so in that case, we're just going to default to good old logic and common sense.
Okay.
Right, so you'll just have to translate it both ways and see what makes most sense.
Okay, because only one meaning is going to make sense.
Only one meaning is going to make sense.
Because the meanings are quite different.
Yeah,
Like,
they are. They are very
should
different.
and in order to.
Exactly. Right, so for example, if we were to see this لِيَعْلَمُوا, we don't instantly know based on the ending whether it's trimming or shaving.
Uh-huh.
But we'll translate the rest of the ayah, and that is how we cause them to be discovered. Right? And then the rest is they may know that Allah's promise is true. Right? So if you translate it as a shaving and you end up saying
They should know.
they should know that Allah's promise is true, it just doesn't flow or doesn't make sense.
Uh-huh.
Right? So here, the only one that makes sense is the trimming,
Okay.
which is so that. Right?
Okay. So basically, if we see la plus a wow alif ending, it can be either just choose what makes most
Just choose what makes most
in
sense.
translation.
Yeah. And then another hint for you is that the li here is coming in the middle of the ayah. Right? And you'll only see the word so that in the middle. Right? You won't start with so that.
Right, because when you say so that, you're giving a reason for something.
Exactly. Something that came before.
Right.
Right? So that's another clue for you.
Okay.
So it really, you'll find that it's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
And worst comes to worst, you translate it wrong, and then you see that it makes no sense. You choose the other translation,
Yeah.
right? And then, one last thing, throwback to the old days. There was another li that we saw way, way earlier, which was the TLDR,
Oh,
right? But that one's really easy to distinguish because TLDRs are followed by what kind of word?
nouns. Always.
Nouns, right?
Yeah.
And trimming and shaving are followed by
Present tense actions.
present tense actions, right? So if you see a li followed by a noun, you know that it's a TLDR.
Got it.
That's a easy peasy.